Alright. Alright. For anyone that just happens to see what I have going on here, this is just, I guess, a random event, to say the least. Right now it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so by some chance, if I'm too low for you, then I apologize. But uh, right now, people are either sleeping or they're watching some TV. Now, they're most likely sleeping because it's the weekend. Unless some people work on the weekend. I know I work on the weekend at times, so there's that. So I'm gonna let out a little bit of a vent. This little bit of a vent traces back from I had to say at least a few years ago, 2 years ago. So I'm gonna let y'all in on this real quick. This vent I'm gonna do here is just straight off the rip. As y'all know me for all of it with my content. If y'all been here for it, I don't script any of the things I gotta say. I have no reason to script anything I gotta say. If anything, I feel like if you have to script with what you gotta say, then you're not genuine. Plain and simple. I mean, it's genuine. If you end up stuttering a lot, it's genuine. If you're still processing words to think about, it's genuine. If it's genuine when you can feel the emotion and feel that this person really is serious. Doesn't come off as fake under any way. So here's the deal. This little thing starts with a friend I used to have, right? A friend I used to have that decided to come back. When I tell you about it, I'm not even gonna say that. No. I don't think friend I used to have is the right way to say it. I think the right way to say it is a friend, in my opinion, that I still have. Now, by the time this vid is done, people are still gonna look at me as this defender of such friend. At the end of the day, I clearly, 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 clearly don't care anymore with the person's name that I'm gonna drop. So this person decided to speak her piece this week, or better yet, last week. I don't know. Well, today's Sunday, so I guess you could count it as last week. For me, I usually count Sundays as the start of the day, I guess. Start a new week, I guess. But she decided to speak her piece on what was 2 years of abuse coming from one community. Abuse that went so far that it's literally destroying her from the inside out. I'm not gonna name drop everything because it's gonna be hard for me to remember, but I am gonna name drop some key people that not only impacted her life, but really more so impacted mine in a negative way. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it any more than I already have. I'm just gonna say it. Uh, Real shit. The people on here on this Twitter website that you guys sit around and you defend, you retweet, you like, and you try to be chummy chummy with. God forbid you get any further to them than you already had at the time of me streaming this. Probably because by the time you find out, it will be far too late. It might be far too late. God forbid that if you try to get further into a friendship with this specific person, I'm clearly gonna call out by the name of Chaos Voltage, if that's her name now. I know that was one of her old names, but it's still part of her name. You know who I'm referring to. That's all I know her. I mean, like, if anything for me, I mainly just know her as Lee because that was how we first met. Actually, I take it back. Chaos Pixels. There you go. Either way, it has a chaos portion on the first part of her name, and the rest of it is whatever the hell else it gotta be. For me, with what she's done, not only to this one person, but what she did to her own people, it's something that even to this day in 2022 that I will forever be confused with. Whereas, how can you continue to let all of this go on? How can you continue to say that this person took your friends away? How can you continue to say that this person groomed you? If anything, the person that groomed you is actually not on Twitter anymore because of the recent actions that they just got dealt with. At least you can make a good case for it. Not just groomed you, but also in a way, if we're gonna go that way, she technically is a groomer herself because she manipulated a lot of people, a lot of adults, groomed a lot of adults to her own bidding. I'm talking by the name of Siren S. Slut. I would know, of course, because I was part of such. You know what I still remember? And this is really what goes to what we're about to talk about here. What I'm about to talk about here. You know what I still remember out of all that, out of the three or four of us, including everybody knows her as Mask Weird Cat, but she rebranded, called herself Cosmic. But you want to know what everyone really remembers? Everyone remembers how you went back on Twitter and just straight up, right off the rip, no holds barred, no nothing. You straight up just threw everyone and everything under the bus that was there helping you with the whole situation that of course came out with the whole Z Sketchers mute kitten now called, what is it, the hell's her name now? What the fuck is all these people changing their names? I don't even want to remember all these names anymore. But when I mention these names, of course they're gonna bring up some memories. You got Skechers, you got Mute Kitten, you got Kaiju Milk, you got all these people that were at once trying to get you off the internet, off of something so simple as a reference sketch. The thing is, though, you actually mentioned that yourself. You went as far as to mention that yourself. But you want to know that people, you want to know what you didn't mention, that you will never mention, because you're too ashamed to mention that, because you feel like if you mention that this person really did help you the way that she did, that that people will start to look at you differently. What won't ever be mentioned is the fact that there was a Discord that was opened up. I don't know if you were the owner. I don't know if Cosmic was the owner. I don't know who was the owner at that time. But from what I remember, when that whole situation came down, I remember you invited me to the server. I remember you wanted me to kick Wish, who was the person that I sadly insulted, badly threatened. And yes, this was me being well aware that she was also a minor, people. So before people tried to say that, oh, wasn't she a minor? You did this. Yes, I was well aware, and I'm still very, very much apologized for it. And if she's still around, if she doesn't remember the apology, I'll go ahead and DM her again and tell her my apologies without even hesitating. But you want to know what I remember throughout that whole thing was that you wanted me to kick her out the server. You wanted me to get her on here. You wanted me to, I guess, you wanted me to like get her on your side or whatever the fuck it was about. You wanted me to turn him away from, the whole thing that was going on with them with Oriole Despair or Live or whatever the fuck it was about. And I tried that. Clearly that did not work out, but I tried that. Not only that, but I remember having to be in those Discord calls with you, with me, with Cosmic, with her boyfriend. And I still ask myself this question to this day, whereas, where did all this grooming stuff come from? Where I was there in those calls, and every time I was in those calls, it felt like at a moment's notice that you were an emotional time bomb. Like, if that clock hit zero, then God knows what the fuck she's gonna do. Like, if Cosmic wasn't there, or if her boyfriend wasn't there, or if your best friends weren't there to calm you down, that you were going to do something incredibly stupid, that no one would be there to help you. If those people weren't there for you at that time, I can't really say what would happen. I don't know what would happen. Because it's like, yo, we were there that whole process when it went to these people doing a lot of terrible things to you. I mean, people, this is going to get very graphic in a matter of seconds with what I'm about to mention here. Where these people would legitimately sit up there and leak photos of Lee in the hospital. When she was in the bed, like in the hospital. Either they leaked it or someone leaked that shit. Either way, it's not cool. Either way, it's wrong. It was getting to that point where it was legitimately about to be a court situation. That whole process, every step of the way. Who was the people that was there for you? Because I'm going to tell you this right now, it sure as hell wasn't the people that you're currently with. They don't know the full story because you didn't tell them the full story. You won't tell them the full story. The full story will never really be heard unless it goes to court. The full story with this will also never be known is the fact that, you know, this is clearly documented between the people that were in this Discord, that were in that specific Discord, that you were not having a good Christmas. You weren't going to have a good Christmas that year. But what did Cosmic do for you? She did something that honestly I wouldn't even do. Nobody would have done. Not for somebody that we don't know like that. She legitimately sat up there, bought you a fucking Nintendo Switch. Like, I want people to really like process this information real quick. Who does that for somebody? Especially during that time. Who gets them a Nintendo Switch? A console, Nintendo Switch Lite, no less. Either way, that's still $200 off the rip for someone. To truly show, like, yo, I want you to really have a good Christmas. I want you to have something. Who wants you to have that? Who wants you to? Not only that, I'm sorry. There's more to it that went to it. How about a freaking iPad? That's 200 more. 300 more even. I don't know how much iPads cost that time, but look, they were still expensive. They put, like, I want y'all to understand. I'm invested into a lot of artists nowadays when it goes to Twitter or anything like that. But as much as I love my people, much as I love my artists, ain't no fucking way am I gonna sit up here and put $500 into you. Unless if I know I truly have a fucking backup plan to do so, and even then I wouldn't even do that. That's $500 put into you. For you to continue doing your artwork, for you to play a video game and have some fun with your life. But you came up with the lie when you left and said that she groomed you. She emotionally groomed you. People, let me go on Twitter. Let me pull up the web browser real quick. Let me pull this up real quick. On here in the stream. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay. So we have this pulled up real quick. This is what I'm going to type down. Emotional grooming. Alright. This is what I'm going to read right here. I'm going to read at least like 4 or 5 of these. The best I can. And we'll see which one comes up with such and such thing. Alright, so let's read this here. The willwaltz.com, the 9 grooming tactics. We're going to go ahead and read this right off the rip. Alright, the 9 grooming tactics. Definition: when a person, whether male or female, plays with someone's feelings in order to gain control of the other person, that process is called grooming. The groomer wants to prepare the person, which is the victim, for some type of behavior that will benefit the groomer's selfish goals or personal gain. Emotional grooming can be used to seduce or con people into sexual activity. Number 1 is flattery. Number which is sincere compliments that are phony and overdone. These are always meant to get something in return. They are not the same as a compliment or praise. I'm going to ask, like, I legitimately hope one day Chaos answers this question. When at any point did Cosmic show flattery towards you? Did she when at any point did you think that she was expecting something in return? I legitimately would love that answer. Number two is bribery, of course, what I just mentioned here, where it says giving excessive gifts to make someone feel obligated to another groomer's use to given to demand favors in return. Gifts should be freely given with no expectations. So that's number two. If this is where you're gonna make a case with number two, honestly, it's not the right case, seeing as she literally put 500 into you. In what way would she expect $500 back? Let alone the iPad, let alone the Switch. Considering what your situation was. Number three is status. The groomer uses popularity, money, possessions to get the victim to do what the groomer wants. Number four is jealousy and possessiveness. These are normal emotions that everyone feels at some time. Groomers use them to control, manipulate a person. Also, the groomer isolates the victim, as this is very important. The groomer treats the victim as an object rather than a person to respect and love. Examples include tell another how to dress, where to go, how to talk, what to like. Of course, we got insecurity, we got accusations. The groomer says the victims did things in order to scare, threaten, control, manipulate. The crazy thing about this is, hold on to number six, people. To anyone that's still listening, I want y'all to hold on to number six. Please do me a favor, hold on to number six. Hold on to that. Intimidation, anger, hold on to number seven. Anger and control. I want you to hold on, at least the best you can, from 6 to 9, at least 6 to 9. Then we'll find out what that, who's really doing such and such. But the crazy thing is, this is mainly meant, at least for right now, if I'm seeing from off this definition, this is mainly meant when someone's trying to get you into sexual activity. This is like, let's continue. I'm gonna go on to another one. I'm gonna go on signs of grooming in the workplace. I'm gonna reject that. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, you may have heard the term applies to children, but adults can be. Oh, see? Oh, okay. This is definitely interesting. Adults can also groom other adults, even at work. By definition, grooming is when someone builds relationship, trust, and emotional connection with you so they can manipulate, exploit, and or abuse them. It can be difficult to tell whether you or someone you know is experiencing grooming. In most cases, the victim has no idea it's even happening until after the fact. However, adult grooming does happen, and there's a handful of telltale signs to be aware of. There's friendship. It says right here, there's friendship. Grooming typically starts off with friendship, getting to know them, typical shit. Trust, building their trust, testing them, isolation, abuse, like sexual abuse, all that other stuff. They would probably like talk about that, whatever the fuck it is. So here's how I see it. This is probably the closest it's gonna get is with this article here. And even then, here's the problem with this. The problem is, at any point, if you look up grooming, you're gonna mainly think of the two definitions with this. You're going to think of grooming as in you're preparing someone like for a job opportunity. You're preparing them for the future job opportunity. Like, you're about to retire, so you want this person to come in and continue to do the job right that you taught from them. That's the first definition, as far as I know, with grooming when it goes to a workplace. In a positive light, to say the least. Like take for example, uh, take the what happened with the. I'm gonna say for example with sports. Doug Peterson just got hired from the Jaguars. He was basically groomed on how to handle the media, thanks to how the Philadelphia media is. Where the Philadelphia media is shitty. He goes over to the Jaguars media. He finds out it's light work, and he's already doing a good job on how to handle the media. Now, the second form of this is, of course, what we know is the sexual portion of it that we just covered. My question with all of this is, where at any point did Cosmic shown any signs of sexual grooming to this person? Like, I can only speak on it with my own point of view, being there in those calls, being there in those Discord calls. She never showed any of it. In fact, even if you could turn around and say, even if you could go to the emotional portion of the grooming that they say it is from their own definition, if anything, when it went to those conversations, she never came off as someone that was emotionally, that was demanding or controlling of chaos at all, as far as I know. I would know because, of course, I was in these calls. Okay, yeah. I've noticed the stream messed up a little, but yeah, just had to give it a moment. But yeah, like, here's the deal though. Here's a here's the deal though, is that, and this is the sad part about it, is, oh god, more video buffering. Is this seriously going to video buffer all night? I hope not. Please don't. Alright, I hope it doesn't video buffer all night. Alright, so, yeah. That whole time with me being in the calls with them, she never showed any signs of being an emotional groomer. If anything, she tried her best to talk her out of shit that she was about to get into that would soon lead her to trouble, which y'all can blatantly see way after the fact that after she even leaves them, she still gets herself into some form of trouble. There's always something going on. Like, y'all don't, like, and it's crazy because not a lot of people really decide to sit back and really understand. It's like she legitimately tried to pull her away from the bullshit that was coming with this Sonic community that's already here. Her to get caught up in all of that. Her friends didn't want her to get caught up in all of that. Like, yeah, I'm gonna reset stream.